An investigation is underway following the security lapses at last night's event. Now, President Trump is praising the Secret Service for rushing into action to protect him.
It's a tough situation, but I thought Secret Service and law enforcement, includes D.C. police, law enforcement was great. I really thought they were great. And I would be the first to complain if they weren't, believe me.
Joining us now is former Secret Service agent Tim Miller. Tim, thanks for joining us. Listen, I have several questions, but I also have co-hosts here who have great questions as well. So I'm going to stick to one. It was pointed out to me earlier, and it makes a lot of sense. Someone that was in attendance at the event said, listen, it's the Secret Service's job to keep the president safe, not to keep us safe. So as we hear some, I won't call them criticisms, but at least questions about how the security went down. Anyone was allowed into the hotel, and it was really from the point of those metal detectors into the ballroom that the tight security was instilled. Does that sound normal to you? Is there a method behind that madness?
Well, Joey, first, it's not just the president. Certainly, that's why they're there. But the vice president was there, various cabinet officials. But the key is the Secret Service is proactively to keep the event safe. Because if you remember, it wasn't too long ago at Butler that the concentric rings, remember that big conversation wasn't broad enough. And then we went to the golf course. And now here we are again. Now, were it not for the heroic actions of agents on the ground again, that could have been a much different story. But to your point, we used to say in the Secret Service, by the way, I've done that site probably 50 times. It's from the curb to the podium, that we're thinking of comprehensive security throughout the event. And, you know, quite frankly, I was shocked that someone was able to get that volume of weapons through that checkpoint. And that should be concerning. Despite the heroics, we should be asking the hard questions about how do we keep our leaders safe? This is happening too frequently.
Fair enough. Absolutely. To that point, you know, after that Harvest Festival shooting at Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas, where the suspect brought in all those weapons, you know, maybe unbeknownst to the casino and the hotel, I thought maybe there would be some more scrutiny, especially when it comes to a hotel environment. But I actually want to ask you about something else. We've seen this video play over and over again of these agents, you know, neutralizing the threat. Our own Bill Maloogian was saying that he was actually shocked that the suspect was not taken out, that he was not hit. Can you speak to that as you're watching that video, as you see him rush by? Obviously quick action by those agents there, but the fact that they draw their weapons, I'm assuming that they're shooting, and they didn't hit him. Can you break down how you analyze that footage?
Yeah, let me tell you, as a firearms instructor, those incidents happen in quarter seconds. And Joey's been in the same background. You know, when that happens, if you're not proactively ready for something, and it looks to me, based on the video, that it happened so fast that they weren't ready, and now you're firing at a moving target in a confined space. Remember, you have to look at the backdrop. Are there any innocent people? So this went as well as it could go, given the circumstances. But my question is, how'd you get those guns and how'd you get them to the checkpoint?
Yeah.
You know what? I just have to ask you, Kevin Cork here with you, and thank you again for your expertise. I'm watching that video, and again, Monday morning quarterbacking, I recognize that people will do that, not just today, but in the days ahead. I am, however, quite surprised that the agent appeared to sort of get out of the way, almost do sort of a matador move instead of immediately wanting to knock that person over. If someone's running toward an area that I'm supposed to be responsible for, my thought would be, I imagine, would be to stop that person, to get in the way, if nothing else. Am I wrong about that? Or did from your perspective, and I understand things happen in a nanosecond, was that the proper way to handle that circumstance with someone charging at that secure area?
Yeah, you know, Kevin, that's a golden question for a number of reasons. You know, we always, in my security company, we train you rise or fall to the level of your training. And it does beg the question, wait a minute, you got somebody charging a checkpoint you're responsible to protect. Why wouldn't you stop him? Now, I don't know the circumstances, but I do know, watching the body language in the incident, he reacted very quickly to move back, which is your general tendency. But we're trained get Secret Service agents to do the opposite, and that's to step towards the threat. And so that'll be a lot of what's going to come out in the investigation.
Yeah.
How did that happen? Why did it happen?
Tim, it's Alicia Acuna here. So I was looking at the line of succession, right? The 18 people that make up the line of succession to the presidency. A good chunk of this list was in that room last night.
Yeah.
You said you did these events for what, 50 events? You said in that very venue. Was there ever any talk during any of these events when someone said there could be a security threat in one of the 1,100 hotel rooms above this ballroom?
Absolutely, Alicia. And remember, the goal of the Secret Service always is to put the protected bubble around the protectee. And that's the goal, but there's no perfect security. And to your point, I did the reviewing stand during the Clinton inauguration. You had everybody who was anybody in that state. And because of that, the security has to be perfect, given all the attendees there. And I'm not trying to criticize the Secret Service. I think we're in a new age. The Secret Service has to be rethought. We ought to have actual barriers at checkpoints based on what we saw last night. We ought to have advanced technology. But because let's face it, guys, the threats are not becoming less. And behind this madman, there are thousands of madmen that want to hurt the president. And we have to do everything we can do. It's not about the Secret Service. It's about the mission of protecting our leaders so that they can do what we elected them to do.
Tim Miller, thank you for your years of service doing just that. We appreciate you, appreciate what you're still doing, and for coming on with us.
Thank you, sir, for having me.
Yes,
Thanks,
sir.
Tim.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.